When I talk about what I would ideally want in society, I would ideally want a society where we have workplace democracy, universal health care, same things like guaranteed housing, and a society and economy that actually works for the people and not just for corporations.
Oh,
So when I say guaranteed housing,
you're
that
talking about
doesn't
like the
mean
New World
hold on,
Order,
wait, hold
right?
on, listen. When I say guaranteed housing, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden your mortgage is free. That means that there is no homelessness. We'll try to avoid homelessness as much as we can, which is something that we can do because there are millions of homes out there sitting completely empty, and we have millions of homeless people. So we can house people, we're just not doing it. So if we had a system of guaranteed housing, we would have no homelessness, which would make mental health issues and drug issues and crime decrease in our country. It's better for us if we guaranteed everyone a home. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden the house is free. That doesn't mean everyone's mortgage goes away. That doesn't mean the rent that I'm paying in my apartment right now completely goes away. But it does mean is that when I go down to the downtown area, there's not a skid row there. That's what that means. And and the question that I always ask is, why is that a bad thing? All right, Smith, how's it going? Oh, I'm sorry, your name is Smile. I apologize for that.
What's up, man?
How's it going? How can I help you today?
So, what I'm just trying to like, I was just overhearing what you guys were talking about. What was what was the argument? What was the tension about?
I have no idea what he was trying to do because he's a fan of mine. You know what I mean? He comes over all the time. He came into my last live ranting and raving about Donald Trump, about how
I
much
think
of
you have a glitch in your live, by the way. I don't mean to interrupt you, but it says you have two people in here. That's obviously not true.
yeah, it's a glitch. It's definitely a glitch. The other one is Garrett. I'm trying to bring him
How
up
many people
now,
were
but
on here? It says.
I'm trying to bring someone up right now, but I don't think he's
But
connecting.
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, not a problem. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is because Mr. Live comes up here all the time, ranting and raving about Donald Trump and how much he wants to slob him off. So it's
That's weird, man. But there's weird people out here, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. But what's up with you? What is it that you're saying exactly? You're saying that I can relate to what the other guy was saying a little bit. You know, not everything, obviously. What he was saying. I would say that America, or the West, especially in America, I would say it's like one of the most convenient countries in the world, right?
we are.
Like you got AC everywhere, you got a lot of opportunity. It's capitalist, so it's like better than a lot of other places. You would admit that, right?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
got food stamps, you got Medicaid, you got all these assistance, a lot of these programs, a lot of stuff. America is definitely better than a lot of places. You would admit that, correct?
yeah, it's more convenient to live here than it would be a third world country that doesn't have social services. Sure.
Well, it's not even about third world country. I would even argue that it's better than living in other Western countries.
No, I don't think it is. We have like for example, like let's say like for example, I got into a car accident. Like a car hit me like last year, right?
Right.
And I suffered a concussion for that. I needed to go to the hospital, so of course they needed to take me into an ambulance. You know how much the
Right.
ambulance costs?
Yeah, but do you have to pay for it on site?
No, I don't have to pay for it on site. I gotta pay for it
Exactly.
later. But no, but my
Exactly.
point is,
But my point is
oh wait,
that
wait, smile, give me a second. My point is that we had to pay for it. In other countries, you don't.
yeah, nothing free, bro. No, nowhere in the world, nothing in the world free. What are you talking
It's
about?
it's going to get paid for somehow, some way. But that doesn't mean at the point of service you pay for it.
My
Like you gotta
point
get, that means
is that
like for
I can
example,
relate what the guy was
when it
saying.
comes to
There is no such
when it
thing
comes
as
to
food
when it comes
stamps
to when it comes
everywhere
to
else.
when it comes to things like health, that's not something that the citizens pay for. It's already provided for you.
Right. No, I think people should be more grateful for sure. I'm one of those people I'm talking about. So, I think we all need to humble ourselves. That's a good thing. But not to I'm not trying to get political here or nothing. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, I don't think relying on the government, is any a solution. You know what I
Let
mean?
me ask you a question. Why is universal health care relying on the government?
I'm speaking in general.
All right, but the thing is, no one says to rely on the government, so
Think
I'm
for
not sure.
yourself. You should
Hold on,
depend on
wait.
yourself.
Listen. No one says to rely on the government.
Isn't
No
that
one
what
is
you
saying
guys are
that.
advocating? What was the discussion about then?
He was just ranting and raving, bro. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Then I'm
The
confused.
the the, the thing is
What
what I
are
was
you?
what I was
What's
talking
this live
about.
about?
I got you. What I was talking about. What the live is about. Ask me anything. You can ask me anything because and these are the things that I am. I'm an atheist. I'm a leftist. I'm a Pan African. So when I talked about
What's a
what
Pan African?
I'll answer that in a second. When I talk about what I would ideally want in society, I would ideally want a society where we have workplace democracy, universal health care, same things like guaranteed housing, and a society and economy that actually works for the people and not just for corporations.
Oh,
So when I say guaranteed housing,
you
that
talking about
doesn't
like the
mean
New World
hold on,
Order,
wait, hold
right?
on, listen. When I say guaranteed housing, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden your mortgage is free. That means that there is no homelessness. We'll try to avoid homelessness as much as we can, which is something that we can do because there are millions of homes out there sitting completely empty and we have millions of homeless people. So we can house people, we're just not doing it. So if we had a system of guaranteed housing, we would have no homelessness, which would make mental health issues and drug issues and crime decrease in our country. It's better for us if we guaranteed everyone a home. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden the house is free. That doesn't mean everyone's mortgage goes away. That doesn't mean the rent that I'm paying in my apartment right now completely goes away. But it does mean is that when I go down to the downtown area, there's not a Skid Row there. That's what that means. And
Well, I'm not.
and the question that I always ask is, why is that a bad thing?
Well, I'm not. Here to discuss that. I was just letting you know that it's better than a lot of other places. That's all I was letting you know.
Yeah, we're a first world country. We're better than it's easier and it's better to live here than somewhere that's completely third world. I don't disagree with that. I'd rather live in a country that does not have rolling blackouts.
Yeah,
Of
you
course,
shouldn't rely on people.
right. But the thing is,
You should work for it. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
But the thing is though, no one is saying don't work for anything, and no one is saying don't be independent. What we're all saying is that in a society, as humans, we're a species of social interdependence. We all depend on everybody else. The reason why my lights turn on whenever I go to switch my light switch is because someone else is working to make sure that happens. We all depend on each other. So if we all depend on each other,
You're saying
why
the
not?
only reason why your bills are being paid is because someone pay it?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I
No.
said when I walk into a house and I switch my light on, the reason why that works is because someone else went to work to make sure that happened. So we all depend on each other already.
Yeah,
Like, we're not completely
you have to
independent.
work. That's what it's called, responsibility, sir.
Right. What I'm saying is that we're not completely independent. We all have to work. You know what I'm saying? But we all have to work, right? But we're
How old are you, though?
Hold on, wait. Listen. We all have to work, but we're not completely independent of each other. We all depend on one each other, regardless.
I
All of
only
us.
depend on God. Well, I don't depend on anyone.
When you go, okay, using this internet right now, how are you using it if not someone else?
What?
You're on the internet right now. Are you the one who put in the wires and the GPS for the internet to work?
You talking about the satellites and stuff? No.
Yeah. Did you build that? Did you launch into space? Did you figure out the math on how to do it? Did you do any of that?
We the
Hold
internet
on.
is the
It's
most
it's a
abundant
it's
thing
it's
in the
just it's
world,
just
though.
it's just a yes or no. Did you
Hold
do
on,
any
that's
of
not
that?
a fair comparison.
It is a fair comparison because it proves my point. For you to even use this right now, you depend on somebody
I
else.
think the internet.
Listen, hold on. Listen to what I'm
Way
saying.
out.
Smile. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying and connect with me, please. For you to use this right now, someone else had to
Actually
build
proves
it.
my point,
Listen,
though.
hold
You
on,
use
wait,
the internet to
listen,
make
bro,
money.
listen real quickly. For you to use this right now, someone else built it, and you depended on them to know what they're doing.
I know what you're saying.
Okay,
In a
okay, cool.
society,
So
we
wait, chill.
live together and contribute to
I got you.
society. Yeah.
So that
Right.
means as a society, we all already depend on one another.
But we don't depend on each other. Yeah, we trust each other. We build with each other.
Exactly.
we depend on each other. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that as a society, if we depend on one another, let's make
Not
sure. Hold on, wait.
to pay your
Listen.
bills. You know
If
what I'm
we're
saying? We don't depend on
not
each
not
other
to pay
our
our,
bills.
I'm not saying to pay our bills. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just as a society to function, because we depend on one another. Let's make sure that we're all taken care of. And I'm asking, why is that a bad thing? That's what I'm. That's what I'm.
Like,
I'm
you're talking about
saying.
communism. You're talking about speaking like communism.
I'm not talking about communism, because I'm not even sure communism could work. So I'm not even talking about that.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, but no one is saying that though.
Okay.
Well, there are people who are. There are people who.
Right.
Right. There are people who do want to.
like that.
I
I'm
got
just having
you.
a conversation with you, bro.
No,
I'm not
it's all
trying
good.
to say none of that.
I got you. It's all good. There are people who will advocate for communism. I'm not one of them because I'm not sure how communism would work. That's all I'm saying.
I see you're an atheist too,
Yes, I am.
and a leftist. What does that even mean?
I'm an atheist because like I don't believe in any type of gods.
No, I'm saying a leftist.
A leftist, that means I believe in the things that I just told you.
What that means? You eat with your left hand? I don't get it.
No, I'm politically left.
If you're an atheist, you get it. No, I'm just playing. You said you're politically left, so that means you're against like freedom of speech and stuff like that.
No, I'm not for against freedom of speech. I'm for freedom of speech.
But you support hate speech laws, like enforcing hate speech laws or something.
Like hate speech laws. Hate speech laws.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how hate
like
speech laws would
limiting, or in other words, like limiting free speech, for example. Are you in favor of that?
Free speech is already limited. Like we don't have 100%.
How is it limited in America?
Can you yell fire in a crowded building?
That's
Can you,
different.
can
That's
you get a
different.
bomb
That's
in a
not
movie
as
theater?
long as you're not threatening someone.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Not,
That's
that's
a
threatening.
that's
Rape is a
a
joke.
that's a limit on your
That's
free
actually
speech.
against the law.
Wait,
That's
wait.
actually against the law.
I understand. That's a limit on your free speech.
That's not a limit.
Yes, it is.
Because that's a crime. No, a
Right,
limit
so
would be
making-
not committing a crime.
Right,
and
right.
Still
So
be violated.
hold on, no,
for
that's
that.
but that's not what a free.
For an example,
Hold on,
if I
smile.
can I
Let me respond to you real quick, bro. Let me respond.
if
to
I
you.
misgender someone,
Let me respond to you, bro. Let
when
me
I go to
respond
jail,
you.
yes or no?
Let me respond to you, bro. Relax. Okay. So what I'm saying is that if there is if there is a law that makes what you say a crime, that is automatically a limit on your speech, 100%. Even I understand what you're saying, that it's not a limit because it's a crime, but it's made a crime that limits what you can say. That's a limit on your speech. So all
Let me
free
just say
speech is,
something.
hold on, wait. All free speech is already limited. Now you
It's
ask
not.
me, hold on. All speech is limited because you just said threats are not legal. That's a limit on what you can say. Harassment is not legal. That's a limit on what you can say. Libel, slander are not legal. That's a limit on what you can say. So, free
I think
speech is.
you're
hold on,
confused,
wait,
brother,
wait,
against the
hold
law,
on.
but that's another
Smile. Is a law against what you can say a limit on speech?
What is it?
Is
Repeat
a
that.
law against what you can say a limit on speech?
What is that? I'm not sure what that even means, bro. I'm not sure what you're asking me.
I don't know how to make it any clearer. If there is a law that limits what you can say, isn't that a limit on your speech?
As long as you don't threaten people, yeah.
That's a limit on what you can
No,
say.
I'm saying it's not a limitation. If it involves you taking someone's rights away or involving
Hey, smile.
and bridging the peace, which is a
Smile,
crime.
smile,
It's a crime to do
listen,
that.
smile. Walk with me through this.
So me putting a
Hold on,
firearm or something like that,
smile. Walk with me
that's
through this,
engaging in violence.
bro. Like I don't know what it is with you. Walk with me through this, bro.
I'm trying to have a conversation with
I
you.
am
You're
too,
trying to
but
be
you're
condescending
not
for
actually
no
listening.
reason.
You're not actually engaging. That's what I'm saying. You're not actually engaging.
I'm trying to.
All right. For you to do that, you have to be quiet for a second. Okay.
I'm listening.
All right. So listen to me. If
Was I
I
just muted? What the hell?
didn't mute you.
Okay, go ahead.
This is what I'm saying, that you're not engaging. Pay attention to what I'm saying. If you threaten someone, right? We both agree that that's illegal. You can't threaten people.
That's a crime, correct?
That's a crime, right?
Yeah.
If I threaten someone vocally, meaning I'm saying something, they limit
a crime
that.
too.
That's a crime, exactly.
Right.
That there's a crime against it, and that means that what I can say is limited. So free speech is
I guess you could say
limited.
your freedom is limited, but that's not.
Your
that's not really
speech is limited.
discrediting that we have freedom of speech. We have
I'm
total
not saying
freedom
we
of
don't have freedom of speech. I'm saying that freedom of speech is already limited. We already
speech.
have.
We don't have any hate speech laws, though.
Okay, fine. We don't have any hate speech law. I get that, but I'm not advocating for hate speech laws.
That's what I was saying. Do you support that?
Would I
As a
support it?
leftist?
Would I support a hate speech law? I would. Yeah, I would.
Don't you think that's dangerous?
No.
So you think it's okay? Like it's okay to go to jail for misgendering someone?
Misgendering someone is not hate speech.
Well, it is in some country.
Not true. In those countries,
In
you
the
have to be.
UK, in the
In those
UK.
countries, you have to be harassing someone.
No, just
Yes.
just by misgendering someone, you can be going to jail. in
That's
some
not what
countries.
happens in the UK. You have to actually be harassing them.
I've talked to these people every day.
They're
I'm on
lying to
TikTok,
you.
They're not.
They're lying to you.
Well, they wish they said they would have it. that we
They
have it
are
very good.
lying to you.
Okay.
If you actually read the UK laws, you don't go to jail just for misgendering someone. You harass them, then you go to jail.
That's because they actually have hate speech laws there. That's what I'm saying. They actually
Yeah.
have a limitation on freedom of speech, unlike the United States. So
Right.
that's what makes the United States different.
I think harassment should be a jailable offense.
Harassment is already illegal here. What are you talking
Exactly.
about?
We just
Yeah.
don't add hate
But
speech to
we're
that.
trying to change that by
Right.
trying
But
to
we just
have men going to
what we
women's
just
bathrooms and all kind of bullshit
what
like
what
that.
we
Come on now.
what we do is that we don't add hate speech like racial slurs into harassment, and I think they should be.
You're free to do whatever you want. There's consequences for your actions, though. So,
Yes.
like I said, you should be able to have the freedom, and people die for that right. So I hope you understand that. You
I
you can't force anyone to do anything. Let's be honest.
people died for the right for someone to call me the N word, but if I punch them in the face and
No,
they
what I'm
die
saying is
from
the
it,
fact
I
that you
go to
can say
jail.
whatever you want right now,
Listen
even
to-
against your own government.
All
That's
right.
a right that was fought for.
I
And guess what?
understand that. I understand that. I understand that. I'm not for advocating for criticizing the government and you go to jail. I'm not for that. Trump is
Saying
for
the fact
that
you
though.
can do that is because, like
Yeah,
you just
we
said
can.
earlier, we all depend on each other, right?
Yeah, exactly. We
So
can
the
do
fact
that.
is, we all living based on the lives that people work for, their whole life for it. That's what I'm saying. So people fought that for that
All right.
right.
Smart. I'm gonna need you to stop going a mile a minute. I'm not advocating for anyone to get arrested or get in trouble for criticizing the government. Trump wants that though. He said that before.
I
But
highly
like
doubt. Listen, I think
Trump
this is
said,
more about the government.
hold
It's
on,
more
wait.
about people's
Smile,
feelings.
smile,
That's what I
smile.
think.
This is what I'm saying, but you're going a mile a minute, bro. Like, listen to what I'm actually saying. Let me finish my sentence.
Go
Trump
ahead.
has more than once said that if you burn the American flag, you should go to jail. He's more than once said that.
What's wrong with that?
That's against freedom of speech.
How's that against freedom of speech?
Because like expression, like for the right for you to express yourself is already protected under the First Amendment. If I express myself by burning the American flag, that should not be a jailable offense. Why
Isn't
should
that
that
like
be
a
a jailable?
hazard, though? Isn't it like a hazard?
No, it's not.
Or it's not inciting violence on the
No,
country?
it's not.
But I'm saying, are you familiar with treason laws? Every country has that.
No, it's not treason.
You can criticize the government, but to go against it is another thing.
Yeah, burning the American flag is not treason.
Betraying the country that provide for you
smile,
and-
smile. Stop going a mile a minute. Burning the
I'm
American
not. I'm just
flag.
going by reality, bro.
Burning the American flag has
You American,
nothing to
right?
do.
You American,
Bro, this is what I'm saying about you going a mile a minute. Burning the American flag is not treason.
It can be taken as that, though.
Why?
If you don't, it's basically okay. So what does that mean? What does that mean when you burn the American flag, the country that you live in, representing the country? What does that even mean?
It can mean many things. It can mean passion. It can mean that
Passion to
I don't
what?
want.
What's passion about?
Would you, all right. This is what I'm gonna do, Smile. The next time you interrupt me, I'm gonna drop you. I'm gonna need you to stop that, bro. For real. I'm getting very frustrated. I've given you more leeway than a lot of. I've given you more leeway than a lot of people. So I need you to chill out and let me actually answer you. All right. So when I say that when you burn the American flag, it can mean plenty of things. It can mean protest against a law you don't like. It could even mean protest against the very, very government that you're under. It can mean protest against any wars that you don't like. It can mean passion for the government. It can mean anything. It could mean that you don't fuck with America. Yeah, sure. I know plenty of people who burn the American flag because they just don't fuck with America. What I'm saying is that is not treason. Treason,
You're right.
towards the United States is turning over state secrets to another country. Burning
I
the
agree.
American flag does not do that. However,
I agree,
so it's
sir.
your freedom of speech. Trump is
I
against
agree.
that.
I
Trump is
agree.
against freedom of speech.
Hold on, let me finish. I agree with the first statement you made before you brought up Trump. So your actions, you're not judged but just by your actions, but your intent. So I think that matters as well. So when you get charged by a crime, you're charged by your intentions as well. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so burning the American flag is not treason.
What I'm saying is that there's a consequence for everything, and there's an action to every action. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm not against criticizing the government and going to jail. I'm not for that.
Well, we already have that privilege. That's a privilege, by the way.
That's not a privilege. That's a right.
I mean, that's a privilege. That's
No,
what
it's a
that
right.
is. I think that's true. Yeah, it's a God-given right that people died for, that people would die for today, including myself. So
Right, but what I'm saying is that that's all besides what hate speech is. That's all besides that.
Okay, brother. I think you're confused, man. It's all good. Though. It was good to
I'm
meet you. I
not.
appreciate you bringing me up.
All right, not a problem. Alrighty.